Boogie is clearly not affected by any of this. This is just a real live conversation between two people who love each other very much, but are not always the greatest to one another. I don't know of one single relationship that's easy. The dictionary definition of easy means to be achieved without great effort, presenting few difficulties. It means free from worries or problems. Easy. What's easy? Blinking. Blinking is easy. It's achieved without great effort. It presents few difficulties. It is free from worries or problems. To blink. What else is easy? For everybody. All the things that I think about could be difficult for somebody. Things I believe are difficult for everybody. Relationships. Business. At some point, you'll just wake up and you're like, I'm great at business and I'm good at communicating and I can do all the things that are required to do a good business.
When I've never done it before.
Anything you do for the first time is not easy. So basically everything you've done your entire life has been hard. You learn how to walk. You fall down. Oh, bump my head on the coffee table. Mom comes. It's hard. It just, as we get older and experience difficulties in life, we become jaded to try new things because it's going to be difficult. Everything you do for the first time is difficult. And sometimes things remain difficult for an extended period of time, especially if you have to keep learning new things to get better at that thing. Life is hard, period. There's no rule book on how to do it. Every person communicates differently. Every person interprets communication differently. Everybody has different wants and needs. Everybody has different skills, strengths, and weaknesses. The question is, are you working to get better? I made this rule for myself. I thought about, okay, well, if I have to take a 5-minute walk, what happens if I get frustrated where I'm somewhere where I can't just leave and take a 5-minute walk? Like, what if I'm in a meeting? I'm like, will I stick to this rule 100% of the time? Is that realistic? Is that feasible?
Mm-hmm.
Because being patient is something I really want to get better at. If you want to get better at something, you have to put a game plan in place. You can't just like, I'm going to improve, and then go to sleep, and then wake up, and then nothing's different. So I get frustrated easily, and my personality type is the type that when I get frustrated or when I get upset or if I feel attacked, I manipulate. This is just the honest truth. I'm aware of this, so I'm relatively good at having control over it or knowing when I'm doing it and when it's beneficial and when it's not. But I've had to work to become aware of that. The passive aggressive door slammer, dishwash, throwing the dishes in the dishwasher. I used to be even worse than I am now. Way worse. I used to be way worse. Like if I'm upset at you, you're gonna know. But
I almost feel like we should just tell them like what happened. We were gonna do a different episode today, and we're just walking you through our life. Like this is legit what's happening. On the calendar, we have this 2-hour slot, okay. YouTube recording, we have an agenda, and
first of all, we wake up every day with a calendar that's packed, and we know what's happening every hour or every half hour or every 15 minutes or whatever. And this is the time we had 2 hours or 2.5 hours, something blocked out on the calendar to make new YouTube content. This is not the content we prepared. This is real life content. Because why?
Because energy is important. You know, like when it comes to creating content, it's not just like blah information, but okay, like also what is the intention of this? So, you know, before we started the recording, I was just having like a hump on my heart because a bunch of things have happened today. And, you know, like by the time that the afternoon has showed up, there's just like this point of extreme overwhelm, right? Like, you know, when you're a high operator, you're like, okay, focus, ain't nothing going to stop me, but we're also human. So, you know, when got done with the last thing before this, I was just feeling things. And
you said you were feeling resentful.
Yeah, first I felt like I needed to communicate. Now here's the thing, if you're a couple, the most important thing, I think there's two things that are the most important: trust and communication. If there's no trust, you'll not want to communicate. Communication is the vehicle to all solutions, and that's not just for couples. As a matter of fact, that's for any relationship. And you know, something happened this morning where it made me feel a certain way. But you know, when you're always so focused and you're like, I'm not gonna let it affect me, you're like, how can I solve this immediately? But then being a human, like, you also feel certain things. So, you know, it sunk in and it kept on like building up and building up and building up. And I'm like, man, like if I'm going into this feeling resentful and we're about to do this video right now, like,
it's not genuine.
Neither Erin nor I can hide our feelings and be like, we're gonna pretend like everything is cool when I'm being super resentful. Like, that is not the case. You know, the reality is that we're all human and we do our best every single day, and we play multiple roles in each other's lives. And you know, for any couple who plays multiple roles in each other's lives, it's probably something you can really relate to. It's the greatest thing ever. It's the greatest opportunity. While at the same time, if you don't have a solid foundation, it would absolutely break you. Like, we are accountability partners, we're workout buddies, we are business partners, and we're married. And you know, whatever happened today, when something goes off in any of these roles, it's like
can't separate.
It's like a chain effect from everything else, from every other relationship that you play together.
Don't get it twisted. We're a dynamite team,
right?
But none of this is easy. And I had a very profound thought, and Sarit thought it was a great idea to turn the camera on, which was that when you're doing things that are hard, it's hard. And it sounds dumb and like, oh yeah, like Captain Obvious, thank you so much, I'm so glad I watched this video. But it's the truth. When you're doing something that's hard, expect hardship. Like, expect difficulty, expect speed bumps, expect tears, expect frustration, expect to learn how to grow as a human being and get better with yourself. This morning, I had very unsportsmanlike conduct in our workout, and it had nothing to do with Sarit, but Sarit became a punching bag, and not verbally, because I would never yell out, never one time ever like raise my voice at you, and I'll never slander you. But you know, my attitude was just bad. You know, my body language and my actions and my behavior was just poor, and it's a little bit embarrassing to admit, but at the same time, I know that all of us are human. We all have our flaws, so nobody's void of imperfection. The difference between somebody who is going to yield a happy life and somebody who won't is someone who recognizes their flaws and is aware and intentionally working on improving them. I can confidently raise my hand and say that is me, but I will never be perfect. There will always be things to work on. And the biggest thing was feeling disappointed about myself. So what do you do when you feel disappointed in yourself? How do we feel disappointed in ourselves? We feel disappointed in ourselves when we are trying to be healthier, we're trying to lose weight, and we are, avoiding a temptation of a brownie or an ice cream or something we shouldn't eat, and then we eat it. We feel like I didn't stick to my word. I said I was gonna eat clean. I said I was gonna lower the amount of sugar that I ate, and I didn't. I gave in. I lost. And loss is associated with defeat when it has to do with you. And defeat is like, you can feel defeated, but you don't have to accept defeat as your final destination. Recognize the defeat that you feel or the disappointment that you feel, and remember that, and write a rule for yourself. And then also, like, who's holding you accountable? I made a rule for myself. When I get frustrated or have an attitude, I recognize that it comes, and I immediately stop what I'm doing, take a 5-minute walk, and repeat great things that I'm doing and how I'm improving as a human. Because the intention of this is to get back into a positive state. The intention of this is to remind myself, I'm not a terrible human. Because when we disappoint ourselves or somebody else that we love and care about, when we disappoint them, the easiest thing to do is to start to say negative, defeating things and put different titles on yourself. I'm an idiot, I'm stupid, I suck, I'm not worthy, which basically is what all of those are leading to, is like, I'm not capable of this or that, and I suck. And so for me to take a 5-minute walk to remind myself, hey, genuinely, here are the things I'm doing well. I'm not lying to myself. I'm the most patient person in the world. No, I'm reminding myself of what I truly am good at, what I truly am grateful for even. I'm helping a lot of people. I'm great at connecting people and communicating, and I'm great at entertaining people, and I'm great at helping people to overcome these exact type of things. And so when I go for a walk and repeat that stuff to myself, I get myself into a positive state of like, okay, I'm not a terrible human. I'm not worthless. I'm doing great things. If you're a mom, I'm a mom and I'm raising my kids the best that I can. I wake up, I feed them, they're cared for, whatever, right? Like, say the things that you're good at, rather than, I told you, I said, like, you said, what are you thinking? And I was like, it really like hit me, and I was just crying, and she's like, what are you thinking? And I said, I'm thinking things that are not helpful. And so I thought to myself, what needs to happen in this moment is the exact opposite of that. Because when you start thinking all of the defeating thoughts, you're digging yourself deeper down into an abyss that you're gonna have to work harder to climb out of. Boogie is clearly not affected by any of this.
Hey,
sir, you sound like a bear. So this is just a real raw video of like, everybody's human. Doesn't matter how put together somebody's life looks. Doesn't matter how nice their clothes are, how fancy their car is, how big of a house they live in, how, Instagram perfect their pictures are. Everybody struggles. You know why? Because life is hard. And there's no sense in comparing mine to yours, yours to yours, yours to your neighbors. There's no sense in comparing whose life is more hard. Somebody has it harder than you, somebody has it easier than you, it doesn't matter. Hard is relative. It's all in how we are able to handle it. I heard you say, don't know who you said it to, you were communicating with one of your clients, you said, it's not about the weight of the load, it's about how we carry it. Mm-hmm. It's hard, life is hard. How do you manage it? How do you just get better at getting better so that you're capable of handling greater difficulties without crumbling? That's the question.
Yeah, if you appreciated this video, if it added any value to you, we would love it if you could just drop in the comments and let us know what was your biggest takeaway. Days like this come time and time again, and we are very committed, And that's why we chose to turn on the camera, though this is something extremely personal, but vulnerable, but we find a lot of value in authenticity, because I think when you can feel like, man, I can so relate to this, I feel like it humanizes the process of learning, right? Because, when you are seeking to do better, whether it's with your body, whether it's with your business, whether it's in your relationship, like, you put your heart and soul into it. And not every day, in fact, most days, you're not just going to see the fruits of your hard work. So today is, a lot of things happen, and it's been a really difficult day, but we know that with every struggle there is an opportunity, and we also know that with every struggle there is a lesson. And that's why I chose to turn on the camera, because when you see us in the midst of things, you're able to see us as a real human. And we always strive to do better, but we know that we're far from perfect. And I think it's important in this day and age to, just be real, raw, and authentic, because, you can edit everything.
Yeah, we're not going to edit this video. The beginning of the video is going to tell you what this video is about. You already watched that part.
And
but
we're just going to bleep the one word because we want it to be appropriate. So, yeah, if you found value in this, drop a comment. Let us know what you learned. If you liked it, let us know.
And remember, everything is your fault. Everything is your fault. If you take that attitude, you take that approach, you have to if you want to get better. Everything is your fault. Because if you don't take responsibility and you don't own it as your fault, you can't do anything about it. You're putting the responsibility on somebody else. And if you put the responsibility on somebody else and you can't control other people, then you can't better your situation. So you have to assume everything is your fault. If you feel great, your fault. But if you feel like a sack of, also your fault. Also your fault. Like a sack of potatoes. Also your fault. If you don't feel like you're in shape, if you feel like you're out of shape, if you're not fit, if you're like, I got this roll here and that roll there, and it's nobody's fault but yours. If you don't have the amount of money that you want, nobody's fault but yours. If I break my hand because I get mad and I punch a wall, nobody's fault but mine. So the sooner we can come to accept responsibility for where we're at in life, and some people might not like to hear that, but it's the truth, and the sooner you can accept it, the sooner you can move on and get better. So I'm okay to ruffle those feathers if it means that some people hear this and say, shh, that doesn't feel good to hear, but you're right. I am responsible. Mm-hmm. And even if maybe you're not, but you take the responsibility anyways, you at least give yourself the freedom to choose how to make it better. Mm. So do yourself a favor. Don't blame anybody else for something being difficult for you. Don't blame anybody else for not liking where you're at in life. Don't blame anybody else for you not appreciating you or not feeling worthy. This is on you, and this is good because it means you can improve it. You just have to make the decision and the commitment to say, what's one thing that I can do that's going to make me a little bit better today? Be aware. So this video is not all smiles and jokes and fun, but it's us. And we know that you can relate to something that you heard in this video because everybody goes through it. So, this is a video on how to improve the quality of your life mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, emotionally, because it's these real life situations that make you better or make your life even harder. Mm-hmm. So you choose.
Thank you for watching us today. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. If you like it, click on the like button. If you don't like it, you can also do that. But if it moved you, let us know. What added value to you today? Because surely that's why we decided to turn on the camera. So Hope that you have a beautiful day, and we'll see you on the next video.